Okay, so anyways, Nick, thank you for coming on to the podcast again. This
Yeah,
is
thanks
very
for
nice of
having me,
you.
man. I appreciate it.
Um, just to start off, you mind like just walking us through like well, basically who you are, where you came from, and kind of how you got into music?
Yeah, no problem. I started playing music when I was around like 9 years old. I used to play Guitar Hero, and I used to game a lot with my cousin. We were essentially just losers, kind of in his room, doing stupid shit all the time, and playing video games. The pro life at 9 years old.
Epic
Um,
gamer hours.
Yes, exactly. And he got Guitar Hero, and I was like, "Yo, this is sick!" And I started to just really wanted to play it. So I started playing Guitar Hero, and I got really addicted to it to the point where I think I got good. I don't remember. I told myself I did. And I was like, wow, I kind of want to do this for real. And my cousin already played guitar, and I was like, okay, I want to learn real guitar. I took private lessons for a couple years, learned quite a bit, learned the basics. And then I just kind of started covering songs and learning my own way all the way from like 13 years of age till now. So yeah.
Wow.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
I think like every guitarist almost started on either Rock Band or Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Like it seems
Yeah.
like I started on Rock Band, and I was very like petty. I was always like Rock Band Master Race, but I think it's also because I never owned a Guitar Hero. But yeah, I started playing those a long time ago.
I owned a Guitar Hero, but something in I was really young when I played Guitar Hero. I was like 6 or 7, I think. And my mom made me get rid of it for some reason. There was either it was I forget why, but it wasn't appropriate, she said. I don't remember
Okay.
the reason why.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that Tenacious D gets a little nasty.
yeah, yeah.
That was my first exposure to Jack Black's musician side.
Oh damn.
And then I saw School of Rock, and I was like, oh shit,
Yep,
I
that
got to
was
get
it.
in on this.
Yeah, that was
I-
my first
yeah.
experience with Jack Black
What-
and his music with School of Rock.
Yeah, once I started playing guitar, one of the first songs I learned was the Metal, which was actually on Rock Band like 2 or 3, I want to say, like
Yeah.
back on PlayStation 2, and it was really hard on there. It's much easier on guitar, but
I think
just how
I
it goes.
told Nick this a while ago, but I actually got into guitar because my girlfriend told me one time, I think guitarists are cute when we first met. So I told her, I was like, okay, I have to learn guitar then. So I went upstairs and I told my mom, like, I only want a guitar for Christmas and an amp, thank you. And that's where it started.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Nick, where? I mean, I've been following you since about 50,000 subs, I think, is when
Okay.
I first got with you. And then a couple months after subscribing to you, I think you did a live stream and you invited everybody to the Discord. So you've grown a lot since that time.
Yes.
I mean, you're at 130,000 subs right now, which congratulations on that, by the way. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Big ups.
crazy.
Big ups. That's insane. But what was it like to go from? I mean, like you said, just making covers, and I think actually some of your first videos you have up, are, I think, is one of them a Katy Perry cover for
Yes,
Dark Horse?
it is. It is. I used to do a
I
lot of
love
those.
going back to that, and I think you were I think you were live streaming one day, and you actually went back and watched some of your old videos.
Yeah, when I
And,
hit 100K, I want to do a special live stream because it
Yeah.
meant a lot to me to hit that milestone. Because it's something I never thought I'd hit, and I was like, you know what? Let's show everyone all the old stupid shit I used to do. That,
Yeah.
You know, I these are all tracks that I essentially made, and I would jam them for myself and no one else. Just for like weeks at a time, I just kind of be by myself, and it was just a fun moment in my life, kind of
Yeah.
of discovery and doing a bunch of weird, fun shit.
I will say that even though that was an early cover, that was still a pretty good cover of Dark Horse.
Thanks.
That was
Yeah.
so pretty good.
Appreciate it.
But what is it like when you went back and you saw that and you watched your old videos? What was it like going, like kind of reliving, going from no subs and just a few like beginner covers to you're at 130K right now. You're talking to other YouTubers, and you had Andy on, you had Eric on.
Collabing with Jared Dines, which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
So what is it like going from essentially 0 subs to 130 plus?
It's a weird change in mindset. It's not even so much about the numbers, but it's about what the numbers represent to me. And they don't just represent, just fans, people. It represents a different time in my life, a different mindset of, when I started. One was, I have to go to university and, do this thing that I don't really want to do, just go get a degree, go work a normal 9 to 5. And I won't be anything greater than that, kind of, music is just a fun hobby, but it will never be anything more than that. And when I look now, seeing that it's my life, it's my career, it's just it's kind of a dream come true. And that's really the shift in mindset of 0 subs to even 50,000 or 100,000 or wherever I am now. It's surreal, because I don't take many moments of like pondering like, oh shit, like I'm Nik Nocturnal, as you could say, right? I'm not just regular Nick. I'm this brand, this YouTuber that I've spent years of work in. It's just a really odd thing, and it shocks me sometimes, but I try. I don't think about it too much, but every couple months I'll have that one day where I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm here, to where I've worked my whole life to be. And it's just a really, really cool feeling, and it makes me incredibly grateful. So
yeah. What was like the first? Oh, sorry, Tristan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's awesome to hear, because a lot of, I mean, you see a lot of like these, like some of the biggest YouTubers out there that I think most of my friends and most people that I know don't watch are kids channels, and all they do is like open up a couple of toys, and then they make about 80 million.
Those kids are living it, man. I'll tell you that.
So it's always nice to hear someone who's actually like grinding really hard, and like especially with you, you have such a talent for being able to like listen to a song in under an hour. You learn the whole thing. It's kind of like your specialty almost. That's what you're known for. So it's awesome to like, especially to be with you from 50K to now, and to see that growth. It's so amazing to see you go from having to get a college degree just in case to now, like, not you haven't been. I don't think you've necessarily made it in the sense people will think of, but you're definitely somewhere where most people won't be and aren't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in my mind, I've achieved the dream, the start of the dream, right? It's like somewhat of a reality, and the more that I make it more of a reality, it makes me want to do it more and work even harder. Because when I was younger, no one told you that, oh yeah, whatever you think of, you want to be an astronaut, you want to be this, that, you can do it. You just gotta give it your all. That's just not a common thing, it's very rare. And I had very supportive parents too, but even they were like, like any parent, they don't want to put that risk on their kid. They don't want to not sleep at night not knowing if their kid's gonna be homeless for what they're doing, right? So I have full respect for any parent that is like, okay, we'll go to school, because I get why. But at the same time, I just wish more kids or teenagers knew that why their parents are telling them to do that is because they're just scared, and it's not because the person themselves can't actually achieve those things. Because the more I do this, the more I'm like, holy shit, like I can achieve anything in this, in the world, if I just give it my all and I live, eat, and breathe that one thing.
Well, I mean, it's like you put in the work, and you start from doing like Katy Perry Dark Horse covers, which again are good, but now you got like a Termina, you and Andy Wyzak doing like Termina and uploading like music videos, and I saw you were doing a podcast with someone else.
Oh yeah, Scene Daddy.
I'm drawn Scene Daddy, or so it's like you put in the work, and now you're seeing it, and that's kind of like the difference between those kids channels, which are very much catering to an audience and sort of like clickbait, I dare say. And that's kind of the whole scene of YouTube right now. And then you got all these like other YouTubers like you, and even like gaming channels, kind of, I'm not going to drop names right now, but sort of that quality over quantity kind of experience. And it's like they don't grow as fast, but they're being true to what they're passionate about.
Well, thanks.
And I think that does show.
I mean, thank you. My channel is essentially, it's always been I kind of call it my music vlog in a weird way. Because the things I do on my channel are things I always did. I always covered songs because I wanted to get better at guitar. I always made original music for literally no one else but me. You know, I did all of these things. The only things that I started to do for YouTube, because they're just fun to interact with my audience, are kind of the more meme stuff. And of course, those happen to be the more popular stuff. And that's fine. I like doing those. You know, it gets an other side of me out there. Kind of gives me more of a personality than just that weird kid that didn't speak for 4 years. So I like doing that stuff. But again, that's really what I think of my channel, is just my music vlog. It's what I do daily, regardless if I was a YouTuber or not. And seeing where I am, considering that I haven't necessarily ever had like a viral video or anything, it's bittersweet. It's really cool because it sucks because I never had a viral video. Damn it, you know. But at the same time, I kind of like it because it's like I didn't have any random just sprouts of huge amount of subs and then it drops, you know. It was always a consistent, just pure grind to get to where I am, which makes it so that any fan I do get is a fan and isn't just there for that one video, you know. And it's really cool that I have that fan base, because there's so much support, and a lot of them are just super loyal, because again, it wasn't just like, I was one viral hit. It was like, you know, just a continuous grind of specific videos. And I also have a big variety of different stuff on my channel. So, you know, I also have a fan base that's also pretty open-minded. You know, they'll listen to a pop punk reaction, but then they'll listen to a deathcore cover of Shadow and Intent. And then they'll watch a meme video on guitar. You know what I mean? So I'm just really lucky to have the following that I have be so diverse and so supportive. So,
Well, no one wants to be a one-hit wonder anyway. But the problem is if, you know, it's kind of like when you strike gold and you do get that one video, it's kind of easy just to kind of like sit back and be like, all right, boys, that was it. That's it, chief. You know, like I peaked, I guess.
Nick, you kind of have had a couple videos get to 100,000 views pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had bigger videos. I just consider like, when it comes to like a big viral hit, you know, like that one video where you have like every media post blogging and posting. The closest one I had was on my medicine cover with Andy, which was cool.
That was really cool to see. I was extremely proud of that.
Thank you. And it was such a surreal experience, being like, wow, Alt Press, you know, knows who I am, even though they said 2 YouTubers ambiguous in the post. I was like, okay, I'll take it. But
we got
that was kind of my only, I guess, viral-ish video, but even that's like 400K. And what I at least consider viral is anything that's like, you know, like in the millions. Like those are big videos that like, you know, everyone has seen in a specific community. But,
I mean, you got the Rockstar cover that you did with Andy.
That was
which I personally like. I love that. Like that's awesome.
That was really good.
That's like, you know, some of the metal like cover bands I listen to, it's kind of the classic Our Last Night and people like that. But this is like, that was the first thing I ever heard that had you involved in it, and I was like, oh my god, because I had heard Tristan talking about you when he like joined your Twitch and all that, and so I looked you up, and the video wasn't very old or anything at that point, but dude, that fucking breakdown at like 2 minutes in or whatever, I know all the YouTube comments are full of it, but it really is like, I don't know.
Well,
it's good though. But
I appreciate it. Yeah, that one was a fun one. Even that though, like that went big in the Post Malone community. Like not much, so much in the metal community, surprisingly, because like even now with me and Andy's new project, Termina, like I think 90% of the people don't know that we did Post Malone together, which is hilarious. They don't know who Andy even is.
I didn't know who Andy was until you made I think you were either talking about him or you made a video with him a while ago, and that's when I found him. And he's he has some brutal fucking screams.
Andy is a diamond in the rough, man. I got pretty lucky with him.
He's Spider-Man, dude.
Spider-Man.
And he's so. It seems like he's so humble that it's almost it almost hurts hearing someone talk about like their voice, because I watched his like how to scream video,
right?
Because I didn't have the money to roll into the Scream Academy. I don't have the money for that. So I watched his video, and he was so down to earth and humble about the entire thing.
Yeah, Andy is like his mindset is similar to mine, but also different because he's very much like, I want to be known for making good music, and I have to love every bit of my music every time. I can't do anything that sells out. That's his pure mindset. And I have so much respect for that because I think that way, but I'm also a little bit more of a realist on the business aspect because I do have that business mind, and I'm like, Andy, I'm with you. Make good content. Don't ever sell out. But if you got to do a fun cover, you'll still enjoy the cover. But just do it. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Just do it because I think it'll really help get your original material out there. And once me and Andy built a friendship, he started to do that a little more, get out of his kind of comfort zone of only original music that is 100% exactly what he wants. He's been experimenting, like we did the Medicine cover. We've done other kind of fun videos together where he otherwise just I don't think ever would have done unless he had that trust for me, because he knows that our end goals are the same. Get good music out there, do stuff we believe in, right? Don't sell out for any bullshit.
Exactly.
But he's starting to open up to like that more marketing thinking, that more business thinking of, okay, I'll do what I love, but something's got to pay for what I love. Something's got to bring the traction to what I love. So
Yep. I'm not trying to linger too much on past topics, but you mentioned that your cover of Rockstar actually caught on really heavily in the Post Malone like fan base, and that just like because I'm a big fan of Post Malone. I don't know if like you two are.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I think he's great, and I thought it was kind of weird that you said that because one of a popular video that I've seen of him is Post Malone covering like Nirvana. There was a song I think he All Apologies he covered and like did a really awesome job, and he's like gone on the record saying that he grew up with like kind of grunge and like hard rock and stuff like that, and like that's a big part. And I remember like sort of the fan base of his being like, Post, please release like a rock album or something like that, because like he has the vocals for it and he has the talent for it. And I just thought that was interesting because like he's definitely in the hip hop scene, but that he has that background and even that like interest on the side and everything that he implements into live shows and stuff. And then you say you're a fan of him and you cover him. Of course, I also listen to rap. It kind of seems like almost a lot of people in the metal scene also listen to like rap and stuff for some reason. Not sure what that's about, but I mean, it is what it is.
I think I might have an answer to why people in the metal scene also listen to rap. I mean, you hear a lot of metal songs now. They have a darker tone. They have a darker vibe to them. The lyrics have a heavier content with them. And a lot of rap songs, not so much Post Malone, but I mean a lot of like. You have NF has some pretty heavy emotional stuff. You got Joyner, you got Eminem. They all have some J. Cole. They all have some heavy content with them, and they have heavy lyrics, emotional lyrics, and just a dark overall tone for their songs. I think that's what a lot of metal listeners like about that type of rap.
Yeah,
I also think it's a big part of percussion as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the I mean, that's just for me at least. I really gravitate to percussion, and so like things like from a like really heavy breakdown, and like a metalcore song versus like a solid like trap beat or something. It's like some punchy 808s and stuff.
Yeah. All right. So Nick, speaking of just kind of different genres and stuff, what do you feel about the genre you're most into, which is metal? What do you feel about like the music space around metal, the metal space, the different bands, and really kind of like how do you feel? Like, has it changed from when you started listening to metal, and where do you think it's going right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many subgenres of metal, this and that. I love the metal scene because it's just what I do. It's what I'm in. Obviously, I'm not a fan of people who are metal elitists, as you'd say. Just one genre is better than other or whatever. That's the exact opposite of what I kind of preach on my channel by covering a bunch of different genres. Obviously, my favorite is kind of the core stuff, simply because a lot of that core stuff has influences from deathcore, from death metal, black metal, new metal, all that stuff. So I like that variety in general. But yeah, it's a weird space. You know, when I started, there was pretty much just thrash, and then there was metalcore when I first got into it, and then there was death metal, of course, right? And those were the three, and that was kind of it. And back then, you know, you had the big bands like Killswitch, All That Remains, As I Lay Dying, and they had that very specific sound, and it was a good time. They had really technical riffs, they had breakdowns, they had solos, and then over the years, you know, it's gone more into it's mixed more with pop and a little bit more with hip hop and rap kind of influences of having the catchy chorus, of having kind of just random EDM parts, things like that. And I think it's cool to blend the genres because, you know, you'll get sick of the same thing eventually. Absolutely. You know, just the same All That Remains or As I Lay Dying, you know, riffs. So it's cool to see it evolve. And honestly, I think where it's going now is currently we're in like a very new metalcore is what I call it scene. That's kind of the popular hot thing that a lot of bands are doing. They're taking those new metalcore riffs, combining it with like deathcore breakdowns, and then putting post-hardcore choruses on there for the arenas. And I like that. I because I'm a fan of, you know, new metal riffs. I'm a fan of really heavy breakdowns, and I'm a fan of catchy choruses. So that's even what kind of that's what kind of Termina is slightly going into, except the verses are a little less new metal-y and a little more technical, I'd say. But from there on, I don't know what will be next, but I think that's definitely going to be that is the new trend currently that we're really in. So yeah.
And speaking of Termina, can you walk us through how that was created? Because I remember last year you said you were saying, I don't think I'll ever make a band, and if I do, it might be like just an internet band. And then and like you were just talking about like how you would just and how you would talk about how you would record yourself and the other guys would record themselves and you just throw it all together.
Right.
But now like you actually went out and like you had like a director. I'm guessing he had some staff with him maybe to record this, and there was different locations, and I mean, like you put a lot of time into that music video, it seemed.
Yeah.
So can you just walk us through what it was like going from like I'm not going to make a band to making a band and then going to make a music video and so on?
Yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised that I ended up being in a band, to be honest. It all started with Ezekiel Pearson, actually. I don't know if you know of him. He's the Down and Dirty.
I played with him and you once on Overwatch, I think.
Yeah.
A couple times.
So he was in Down and Dirty, and I followed him. I covered his songs, and because I covered, you know, their songs or their song, because he only released one with them, he knew of me. And Down and Dirty broke up. You know, I was talking with Ezekiel a little, and then he hit me up. He was like, dude, you know, like, screw that shit. Like, do you want to make a band? Like, you know, he thought I was a good songwriter. He's heard my original music. And at that moment, I did not want to be in a band, to be honest. I was like, like I have Nik Nocturnal. With Nik Nocturnal, I have guest vocals if I ever want to work with a vocalist. I have guest solos if I want to work with other guitarists. Yeah. Like, I have a pretty big range that fulfills most of my needs as a musician. But I was like, damn, like, after he asked, I was kind of pondering over it for a bit. And I was like, I think we could do something special. You know, I've heard Down and Dirty. You know, I know their little flavors and whatnot. They're very just modern metalcore, you know, simple riffs, catchy choruses, all that. And Ezekiel has a crazy voice. And I was like, this is an interesting opportunity. So I was like, okay, let's try it. You know, I just wanted to make sure no touring, none of that. It's purely internet. He was down. And the thing is, I think it would be I think it was a good outlet for me writing stuff that was more for me focusing as a composer instead of just being a guitarist and writing flashy guitar work everywhere. Yeah. I wanted to write songs that were hits, kind of like that, you know. And I was like, okay, I think Ezekiel's the perfect person. So I started writing, and I got to know Ezekiel a little more, and he's the nicest guy ever. I still talk to him to this day. You know, he's a great dude. And I think the only issue was that I'd have demos, and I'd be kind of waiting 3 months, send them to him, and I just wouldn't get anything back from him. And I think it's simply for the reason that after Down and Dirty, it just kind of took a toll on him. You know, like a toll on his maybe want to put all his focus on music, want to invest in it, because he's done that. He did that with for 4 or 3 years, and he didn't get anything out of it with Down and Dirty. And the thing is, he's got to pay the bills. You know, he's a tattoo artist. That's his actual like main job. And he just didn't necessarily want to put all that risk in something again. And he didn't tell me that directly, but I could tell, you know, because I knew that he wanted to do this. I knew that he loves music and he's super talented, but I also knew that he was holding back a little bit because he just couldn't. He couldn't put all that risk in his life. You know, he has a girlfriend, he has a house, he has all that stuff. Yeah. So after a while, I was just like, Zeke, I don't think we can do this together. And he completely understood. And we're still, like I said, good friends to this day. But I had all these demos, and I was like, well, what do I do? I didn't want to be in a band in the first place. Do I use them for Nik Nocturnal? Yeah. And they just weren't Nik Nocturnal demos. They were, you know, they needed a vocalist. So I was like, well, if I did want to start a band ever, who would have been the first person to hit up? It always would have been Andy. So I hit up Andy, showed him the demo, and within like 2 minutes, he was like, yep, let's do it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you always, like, when you started your YouTube channel and like started like making your own stuff and doing covers, did you always intend to be solo, or did you ever like have that desire, like kind of keep it in the back of your head that you might be interested in joining a group or a band or something?
I think I always had the open option of maybe, depending on the opportunity, to be in some kind of band. But my main focus, my intent, my life is my solo stuff.
Right.
That's always the priority because, you know, if I started my career with building a band, right, for 5 years instead of being a YouTuber, and then that band broke up, I'm nothing. I have no name. I was just the guitarist in that band. Yeah. And I never wanted that to happen because bands are so tough. You have to trust 4 people with your life. They have to be good musicians. They have to be hard workers. And they have to never screw up. You know, if maybe your singer wants to, you know, do something weird with a fucking underage girl, your whole band's done. You know what I mean? And you have no control of that. It's just over.
Not only is your band done, but it can also ruin your reputation.
Yeah, kind of like a guilty by association.
Exactly.
Yeah, so and if you wanted to do something solo and you had the chance to, you couldn't because you're you're attached to something not so epic.
Yeah, and that's my life. Like, I'm not going to put my life in the hands of 4 other dudes who could or could not destroy my entire life. I guess that's a really grim way of thinking of it because if everyone thought of it that way, there wouldn't be bands.
Yeah, but it's real, though.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to be realistic. You know, if I want to make this my career, I want to do it smart. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to put my life in anyone's hands but my own. So that's why I was always like, Nik Nocturnal, that's my focus. Build my brand. Build it to the point that if I ever do join a band, that band breaks up, cool, I'm still Nik Nocturnal. You know, just continue off where I started. And that's my same mindset with Termina. Is if for some reason it ever stops, which I don't think it will because it's such an easy project for me and Andy. We don't have to do much. Everything's pretty much, you know, we do everything. We do all the production. The only thing we have to pay for is a video, which is really small for a budget for a whole, you know, single or an album. So it's just like it's a no-brainer that, you know, we'll probably be doing this indefinitely. You know, we have no reason to necessarily stop it. But let's say it did break up, I'm still Nik Nocturnal, and that's completely fine with me, right? So
I think that's key because, you know, we have there's all kinds of like content and books and movies and all that of like bands and like the behind the scenes drama of like, you know, like you said, one person makes a mistake and then everyone else is guilty by association. It's like not only did they kind of derail the band, but they probably derailed everybody's like collective career and future opportunities, like just because like they fucked up. And so like, you know, I think some of the bands that stay relevant and like some of the instrumentalists, they definitely capitalize on their own talents. So I think that's really smart of you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I have so much respect for just bands who make it because not only is the grind tough and insane and hard and you're on the road forever. That's something I, first of all, can never do is just be on the road for like 2 months straight. That's insanity to me. I miss my family too much. But also just having 5 people who are brothers who trust each other till the end, or brothers and sisters, whatever it might be, right? Trust each other till the end. They'll die for each other. They won't screw up. That's something that's just so hard to find. So any band that makes it big like that, I just have so much respect for just because they were able to find each other like that. So yeah.
And even the bands where like someone does screw up, but they still stay together and stick it out. Like you have Bring Me the Horizon with Ollie. he got really. I think he was addicted to something. Like I think some pill or a couple pills, and then you had Ronnie Radke, which I don't know what the fuck was happening to him, but I think like he threw a mic stand at someone's face one time, like while he was on stage, and like I mean to this day, Falling Reverse is still making music, and I think all the original members are still there, and the same thing for Bring Me the Horizon.
As I Lay Dying, I loved them. They were like one of the Nick, you even name dropped them earlier, and then I can't remember his name, but the lead vocalist, like that whole thing with the Hitman. Putting it like that, just like that, all those guys are like, well, shit, they're all out of a job, and that was, obviously probably not a very good guy to do that, but the music they were putting out and everything, but
it was insane.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of one person who fucks it up kind of for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're back together. I love their music. I'm one person who differentiates a person in a band from the band and the music. I don't like saying, oh, well, this person's shit, so their whole band sucks and suffers.
Right.
I'm not that person. Like I'm not a fan of what Tim does or whatever it might be, but I love their guitar riffs, so I'm gonna jam that band forever, regardless of what personal shit they do. But I'm saying, exactly. Everyone was screwed over because of one person, and they spent their whole lives in that band. That was their career, and I just never wanted that situation to happen to me. So
well, I think that's very smart and understandable.
I really hope that your band goes far, because just that song that you released was absolutely the guitar was amazing, and Andy screams. That's like there's a part where he was in the tunnel, and he did this really long Fry scream.
Yeah,
and I replayed that a couple times just to re-listen to it. It was so good. I don't know how anybody could make that sound.
Yeah,
because I've tried, and I lost my voice for a few days, so I haven't tried screaming since. But that was insane.
Yeah, Andy is a monster, man. I'm lucky to have him.
I'm glad you do. And where, speaking of you and Andy doing that music video, when you're doing stuff by yourself, what does that production look like? I know you've kind of recorded. Or not, you've live streamed actually a lot of times. You listening to a song and then trying to play it, figuring it out, recording it, editing it real fast on I forget what program you have, and then putting it out. But is there any like has there been a song that you had to do extra production for, even though it was just like a normal cover or anything?
For covers, I never do. A covers is just me and my camera, my good old camera. When it comes to some of my original stuff, I've worked with, like, my girlfriend helps me out a little, like when I film my acoustic stuff, we'll go to a place and she'll enjoy it because she'll enjoy nature, because we like don't go out super often and go for nature walks. It's just not what we do, but when we do it, it's like nice and we enjoy it.
For sure.
So she'll have the fun time of like just kind of being in nature, and I will too. And then she just helps films different angles and gets things done a lot faster. And make sure the lighting's all good and all that stuff. But other than that, it's just kind of been me and my girlfriend. Rarely me and one of my friends, Alex. We filmed like 2 of my videos, like old ones together for originals. Awesome. But it's just me and my camera for most of my stuff.
Speaking of one of your originals, you got Dimitri as a guest soloist. And that was almost arousing watching. I think we have that mutual love for Dimitri. How did you get him? Because his band Chakran is kind of big, and at the time I think you were only at like 70,000 subs maybe when that came out. Might have been less, might have been more, but seeing you get seeing you get Dimitri was just insane.
Yeah, I think I was at like 20K subs actually.
Oh wow!
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
No, it was great to talk to Dimitri. I know the guys in Chakran for a while. They're really good buddies of mine. I love Russian metal bands. I think that's such an untapped market that literally no one covers or reacts about in any of the YouTubers that I know of. Only like the Russian YouTubers maybe do. But that's why I think a lot of the Russian bands also love me, because I'll cover Shrezzers, I'll cover Chakran. If Wild Ways comes out with something, I'll check it out. Like I'm very in that Russian metal scene because I love all those bands. They're really unique. But in general, it comes down to how I network. You know, that's how I get in contact with any band, really. You know, Baptiste from Betraying the Martyrs is another good buddy of mine.
That was insane that you had on there. I love talking to him. The fact that you got him in the Discord and we were playing games. I was so happy about that.
He's a lot of these musicians, even though they're like big dogs in the game, they're just chill, normal dudes that play video games in their time off, and I know that, and it was hard for me to grasp at first, but I'm able to connect with a lot of these guys on a very just personal, just realistic human level. You know, it's not so much of oh my god, you're in this huge crazy band, you know, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's more like I just kind of hit them up and I'm like, hey man, like I dig your stuff, you know. I talk to them like just a musician, you know, a person who's on the grind, just like kind of I'm doing.
Back to the Russian thing just real fast. I just want to give a shout out to Alex Savage, I think. I think that's his name.
Alex Terrible?
Yes, Alex Terrible, sorry.
Oh.
I've never I'm pretty sure he's actually possessed. I think that's the thing. I've never heard a man have such evil sounding gutturals in any song I've ever listened to. His screams are, I think his screams are probably my favorite.
Yeah, he's a monster.
And he did a cover of 21 Pilots. Oh god, what was it? He did some cover, the one where he rides on like a little kid's trike.
Oh, Stressed Out. Yeah.
Stressed Out. He did a cover, and like it starts off like just like the normal song with like the really soft melody, but he's just brutally screaming. I'm like, how is your throat not gone?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's a big risk for them though.
Yeah, that
to
is.
be honest.
And speaking of that, real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off, Colby.
You're fine.
I just want to know, how did you get in touch with the guy who taught you how to scream?
Same thing with networking, so I guess I'll just kind of continue on because it will lead to that anyways.
All right.
Essentially, by doing covers and all that stuff, you automatically start to slowly gain the attention of the bands you're covering. Mm-hmm. Because even me, as you know, being a person who releases music, I'm on YouTube and I'll check, you know, I'll type in my band song, whatever it might be, and I'll see, is there any new videos on it? You know, how's my video doing? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a new video, you know, a cover. Mm-hmm. You know, and your curiosity just makes you go and click the cover or the reaction, and you end up watching, you know, most of it. And if you see it a lot, you know, if you see very often, maybe covers are from the same person, you start to be like, oh, you know, I know that guy. You know, you start to just be like, oh, okay, that's a person who likes our music, who's helping out our band, and you automatically gain respect for that. So simply by just covering songs for 4 or 5 years, I've just gained that respect from so many bands that they know of me. So either they'll hit me up and be like, hey dude, like, you know, thanks for covering, or I'll add them on Facebook and I'll hit them up and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're that guy. Yeah. And that's really all you need as an is to be that guy, you know, of something, for them to just know of you. If they know of you, you know, I'm a very personable person. I'm good at talking to people. You know, then I can just easily strike up like, oh, thanks, man, you know, and then I strike up just a personal conversation with them. I talk to them like anybody else. And sometimes you get a good friendship. Sometimes it's just like your acquaintances. Mm-hmm. But that's essentially how I get 95% of my networks, is just doing that. You know, I have stuff that I offer bands. I cover their songs. They respect that. Then I add them. I just talk to them. And they're usually just very thankful that I even, you know, covered their song, which is really cool. And that's really it with that point. And same thing, that's what happened with Riff Shop. Except I didn't cover his stuff. He just knew me from YouTube, right? Because I built my channel at that point. And I added him and we started talking and we're like, oh yeah, we know each other's stuff. And he asked if I was interested in learning to scream for, he'd offer me essentially like kind of lessons for free, because he wanted to really test it out to make sure that his kind of teachings are proper and work well. So that's really how we got in contact. And then he taught me, and it was really fun working with David. And over, I think, a month, I was able to actually to scream with his help, which was really sick.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow,
dude, the metal community is so like friendly. Like, they really are. Like, it's almost kind of like the collective like bubble, and everyone's just like happy to be there. And you know, like, I've been to some concerts and stuff like that of, at like shitty little dive bars and like whatever else where like people are just sitting there screaming their throats out, but like everyone's like just having a good old time, and like you have the band members walking around and like interacting with people, like taking pictures and stuff. And like Silent Planet, I think, is Garrett Russell in particular, he's kind of notorious for that kind of behavior. Like one of the friends I made at EK, or my school, he was at a Silent Planet concert, and like Garrett Russell was just walking around talking to people and gave him a fucking chicken salad and before he went on stage. And it kind of seems like that's just the way that the community is, because it's like, it's pretty broad, it's like a wide space, but everyone's still like really, compared to other artists and other kind of genres, it's still like pretty small.
Yeah,
and so
it's
like,
it's very true.
Yeah.
You have to get in the mindset of that musician too. Like these guys are bands that they're on their road, they're away from family and friends for so long, and all they're doing is music. So to even have that one person come up to them and be like, dude, you changed my life, like that means a lot to that person, that band member, because it's like it reminds them of why they're doing what they're doing. Even me as a YouTuber, I'll have those moments of like, oh man, why am I doing this shit, like, and then I snap out of it. But the things that usually snap me out is I'll see a message like of a person saying, dude, like, you made me pick up my guitar for the first time in like 10 years, like, thank you so much. And I'm like, holy shit, like
awesome, man.
I'm doing something, I'm making a difference. So it makes you want to connect with those people, and it just you just connect with them on kind of that very friendly and just special kind of level.
Yeah. And that's the thing I love about this like whole scene, like I said, is everyone is, it seems like that's a very common mindset, and I think that's really good. That's like sort of the mentality among a lot of people, not everybody of course, but that's something I really like about the scene, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the only like real people in our scene, in the metal scene anyways, that I'm not gonna say our scene, but in the metal scene, that are the people that that the ones that are in there but like no one really likes are the pure elitist. Like I don't listen to this band anymore because they went too soft. Which I mean,
right.
I can respect, but like if you're like, you've heard Whitechapel's new stuff, people stop listening to Whitechapel because that's too soft from their old stuff. I mean, it might be softer by like 0.3%, but it's still pretty heavy stuff. Now, I mean, like if you're listening to Bring Me the Horizon from like 2008, 2009, and then listen to their stuff today, I can understand why you probably stop listening to them, because they're more into they're more into kind of pop now.
Everybody hated on them when they released that album that had Happy Song on it.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I've never been admittedly a big fan, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's those elitists that really make the metal scene kind of icky.
That's with anything though.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the metal scene has probably elitist the worst. I mean, you look at the pop scene, anything that fucking Justin Bieber released in 2014 was like, oh my god, this is the best thing that's ever came out ever.
That's how rap is right now.
Yeah, it's just it's whatever comes out. It's just, wow, this is the best thing ever. I can't believe someone made this. I'm going to birth my children to this song, and it's probably a song about how some chick's ass is against my anaconda. It's like, why would you birth your child to that song? But okay, but metal, it's like, it's just I mean, even Whitechapel, going back to Whitechapel, they released a song talking about elitist, that were called, I think that song was called The Elitist Ones. And they were basically just telling everyone who kept saying like, "Oh, you're changing. You're not actual metal anymore. You're not Whitechapel." That song was basically a big fuck you to everyone who said that.
Well, I think like Nick was saying earlier, is like you have to like kind of do your own thing.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that's because you obviously, as we all know, you can't please everybody. I'm sure obviously Nick probably knows that much better than us. But you, especially in the music industry, you're going to have those people that are like, why are you changing your sound? That sucks. Go back, or I'm never listening to you again. And then you have the people that are like, why did you do that? And it's like, you just can't please them. Like Breaking Benjamin, people give them shit because they sound the same now as they did in 2002. And it's like,
And
But if they were to
would've
drastically
changed-
change, you
Yeah.
know, it's like everyone's gonna hate them. So it's like you just got to do your own thing.
Yeah, I would rather
Just
a
do what
band
you
do their
enjoy.
entire just do what they want to do and be happy with what they want to do and get all the hate in the world than a band that stays doing the type of music and tries to find enjoyment in it even though it's not really what they want to do and get all the love. I have more respect for that band who is going to constantly change and do different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And,
that wasn't really any of those topics were questions. For me, so I apologize, man.
we only have about 9 minutes left. Because you said you had to leave at about 12, right, Nick?
Yeah, whatever.
Or at 1. All right. I'm just gonna run through these just real fast, just kind of bullshit questions to end off the podcast. What is your favorite feeling guitar for heavy metal? Is it like a thick neck, thin neck, a big body? Like what is it?
Probably in the middle because I have larger hands, so I don't want anything too thin because then it feels weird.
Yeah.
Anything too thick, it's awkward. So anything kind of in the middle.
You play Schecter, right?
Ernie Ball now, but
okay.
Schecter and
really?
Ernie Ball both have very similar necks.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
just-
picked up an Ernie Ball. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Just real quick, when you announced, I don't know if you meant to do this, but I think it was when I was playing with some guy. We were on Battle Block Theater, I think, and my girlfriend was in the call. I think some other guy was in the call, and you popped in real quick to say hello. And we were talking, and you were just like, yeah, I got a video about a Music Man or something like that. I'm not sure, though. And then you just left.
Oh.
And it was like 2 weeks before you released the video on it, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Ernie Ball's great. That was a new endorsement I got. They're just sending me the 2 guitars actually for so I can officially announce it, even though I think most people know that I'm endorsed by them by now.
Yeah.
They essentially sent me the Majesty just to kind of like try out using a video, have some fun with.
Yeah.
And I've just been really enjoying the Majesty, but it's not for keeps, sadly.
Oh.
But the 2 they're sending me are just as good guitars, so I'm super stoked to use those. And those ones are going to keep. And I'm excited to use those because I'm going to be able to customize those a little in terms of like maybe blocking the whammy bar if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I love using the whammy bar on my Majesty, it makes it so I have to stay in one tuning, which is like drop A or standard B.
Yeah.
And I cover so much different music in so many different tunings, and that's why you don't see the Music Man brought out as often.
Yeah.
Simply because like I just can't readjust the whole thing. I'm actually scared of kind of breaking it because I'm
Yeah.
going to be giving it back to them. I don't want to screw with their guitar.
Yeah.
But when I have my own guitars, I'll screw with that all I want because
Yeah.
those are my guitars. So I might block the bridge so I can tune to anything I'd like, and you'll be seeing
Yeah.
those in pretty much every video then.
Well,
That's what you get for not being Jason Richardson.
Yeah.
Have a Majesty for every tuning.
Yeah.
You know, for free. I mean,
So what does just continue on with the bullshit questions? Just what does your like average morning routine look like? What do you do as soon as you wake up?
I usually wake up at like 10, eat some kind of breakfast. I try to make myself just eggs every morning or cereal or whatever I can get. And then I usually start working just 11, and I go from 11, whatever I need to get done that day, whether it be a cover, a commission, project stuff. There's a bunch of stuff. And then I usually work all the way till like 7 or 8. Sometimes I go all the way till 1 a.m.
wow.
Sometimes I go all the way till 4 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
It kinda just
On the
depends.
grind, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big grind. My average hours are though 11 a.m. till like 8. But it varies. Some days I'll take a day off, if there's nothing really I need to do and I'm pretty ahead of schedule, which is rare.
Yeah.
I'll take a day off and just relax and be like, fuck, okay, a day off, I need this. And then some days I'm really on a grind, and like I said, I go from 11 a.m. till like 4 a.m. just nonstop.
What do you enjoy doing on your days off? Do you like
Yeah.
play games, hang out with your girlfriend, family, or?
That.
Yeah.
Play
Okay. What kind of games
just
are you into?
Chill with my girlfriend, just watch something, just relax, man. I need a second of not playing guitar, not being staring at my screen.
Yeah.
Just enjoying, like maybe I'll go outside for like a minute or two.
Relatable.
feel
Yeah,
that.
just that, just kind of
Yeah.
catch up on life and catch up on just basic living stuff, like I'll clean like my studio, things like that.
Yeah.
That I neglect sometimes, not because I want to, but because it's just like I'm working the whole day and I just don't get to it. I'm like, fuck, my studio's still dirty. My studio, my room is still dirty.
Yeah.
So just kind of cleaning around the house, and things like that.
What kind of like games or stuff do you do to like play? What do you play mainly?
On my days off, I'll usually play the Twitch games, man. I've grown up playing those Twitch style games, so WoW, League, pretty much anything except Battle Royale. I'm just not a fan of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
that genre. CS:GO. I'll just play one of those and play with some buddies or whatnot, and just kind of relax, man.
If you want, because I mean, you know our moderator Bob.
Yeah.
He asks me at least twice a week, like, hey, when's the next game night? I'm like, whenever Nick's available, because me and him will have them, but no one will come because like Nick's not there. And I know people are watching too and seeing the chat, because last week I asked randomly, just like, hey, is this where all the cool kids hang out in the general? And the entire chat was dead all day, and like 7 people typed at once.
Right.
So I was like, I know you're seeing this when we're announcing like there's a game night, but you don't come to it. So I think they're just waiting for Nick to be there because that's all they want to do is talk to Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best, guys, but the thing is, it's like my schedule isn't a schedule. It's kind of like
it's whenever you have
time. I don't know when I have free time. That's the thing. When it comes to other stuff, I know when I'm working. The thing, I'm scheduled to work every day, essentially, nonstop for the whole day.
Yeah.
But there's just some days where it's like maybe I'll do the thing the day after, the day before, and there'll be like short notice of like, okay, maybe I'll just take like the rest of this day off.
Yeah.
And if that happens, usually my first thing is I go get my girlfriend and just relax with her because
for sure
gotta give her some attention.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
good.
So yeah.
I just got 2 more just kind of bullshit questions, and then we can get you off here so you can continue making amazing music for me.
For only you.
For only me. Just a quick one. What is your favorite meal?
My favorite what?
Meal. So like breakfast,
meal.
lunch, dinner, snack, whatever.
Oh shit. I like variety, man. That's the thing. Like, I like pasta. I try not to eat too much because I don't want to be fucking huge. Pasta, some kind of good pasta dish, or a good chicken dish. Those are kind of my favorite 2 foods. So, whatever comes with that, or steak. Costco steak, cheapest one I could get. Just kind of the usual stuff. Nothing really special with meals.
That's awesome. Okay. And then you said you like variety, so you might hate this next question, but what was the song that moved you the most?
Oh, okay.
Oof.
I'll give you a couple answers because songs have moved me in different ways.
All right.
So the song that moved me when it came to like wanting to be a guitarist the most was probably Avenged Sevenfold, one of their songs, Afterlife, or MIA or something like that.
Classic.
Or Unholy Confessions, probably Unholy Confessions.
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold was a huge influence on me, especially in my early years.
For sure.
Nice.
And when it came to just kind of my life perspective and wanting to just do what I love and trying to pursue music, I think North Lane, Quantum Flux, or just anything from Singularity, I'd have that album on repeat. And the message in there is just like, just go live your fucking dreams, bro, and no one could tell you what to do other than yourself, kind of.
Nice.
And I think that album really was like the eye opener of like, I got to go do this, man. So yeah.
That is awesome. Well, I mean, I don't want to keep you on here too long. It just hit 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. But thank you so much for actually coming on the podcast. This is our first episode, so we're kind of nervous, and we didn't just want to be 2 idiots sitting here talking about random stuff. Yeah. So thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can have you on again when we get better at this.
No problem. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh no, it's been awesome. Yeah. So
hope you had a pretty decent time.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time out of your schedule.
Yeah, buddy.
Get back on that grind.
Well, anyone who's listening, this is our first episode. So hopefully we have a lot more to come. And if we do, please let us know if we're doing something right or wrong, or if we're just plain terrible at it.
Well, Nick is here, so we can ask him.
Yeah, Nick, are we doing right or wrong, or are we playing terrible at it?
No, that was good, man. It was
all right,
conversation, man.
All right.